Mike told me in an email after I told him the hymns for today, he said, we ought to pretend we're at Disney World and sing it like 100 times in a row. My grandmother was a Lutheran organist for 40 years at an old Swedish Lutheran church, and she is right now just turning over in her grave after singing that song, but such is life. So after dinner last night at the youth retreat, we took a little trek up to a place that we affectionately call the Milk Barn. And many of your sons and daughters and grandkids have been there. And in that old milk barn, which only has a foundation left, we share the Lord's Supper. I love sharing communion in different places. I had been here only about a year when I went to the Lutheran Outdoor Ministry Center for the first time. And the kids that I took there for the first time are now getting close to 60 years old. And all that's left of the milk barn is part of the foundation that used to hold the barn up. And I realize as we sit there that the foundation is more than bricks and mortar. That the foundation is born of a spirit of love and goodness that God gives us every day. You know, lots of things and people in life crumble. Sometimes relationships crumble. Sometimes buildings and places that we hold dear crumble. But the foundation can crumble. It's the foundations that keep us going every day. I remember taking my brother to the church I was baptized in on the south side of Chicago when he came into town. It's Gustavus Adolphus Lutheran Church at 74th and Drexel. I remember every Sunday morning, I'd go to my grandma's house and we would walk to Gustavus Adolphus. I was baptized there. The minister's name was Ragnar. Can you just picture him? Ragnar Molin. And I sat next to my Swedish grandfather and he would sing, "What a friend we have in Jesus." And then he would say, "Don, we're going shopping at the Yule after church." And I looked at the building now, it's half crumbled. It's surrounded by crime tape. And yet, the foundation is still there. Because I realized the foundation is the spirit and the love and the commitment that held it together for so many years. And that vision of that collapsed building fuels my fire every single day. Because I never, ever want that to happen to us. I want my great-grandkids to wheel me past, if LaGrange Road is done by then. Well, they finish it, and then they fix the stuff they didn't finish right, and they do the median. So maybe in 40 or 50 years, the whole thing will be done, and there'll be 3 lanes each way. But I want them to wheel me past this church, and I want it to be more thriving and joyful and praiseworthy than ever. And who knows, maybe one of those kids sitting in the milk barn last night will one day preach here and share the spirit and the love and the goodness that we share today. You know, going to church camp is different than it used to be. All the kids have at least one cell phone. And I tell the kids that this is going to be a cell phone-free weekend. And so we're sitting doing something, and one of our kids is texting madly on her cell phone. And I said, "Zoe, put your cell phone away." And she says, "Pastor Don, I'll be done in just a minute. But I have to tell Alex something." And I said, "Zoe, Alex is sitting right next to you. But this is private and very important." And we did a lot of that all weekend long. But then there are the moments on the youth retreat that are absolutely life-changing. We're in a circle for the evening prayer with candles in the middle. And one of our newest kids is in 7th grade. And he weighs like 75 pounds. And we're going around the circle and asking each one of the kids, what's going on in your life right now that is really important that you want to share? And he said, "You know, I like sports and I like football, but I have a cyst inside my head. And I can't play football or any sports right now because if I hit my head, something bad could happen." But he said, and he smiled, he said, "I was been to the doctor, and the cyst is getting smaller, and I'm going to play football again." And the kids broke out into applause. And you could just see the smile on this kid's face, sharing something about him, and the kids just embracing him and supporting him. And then there was the moment at the milk barn just before we shared communion. And there's a young lady who's in high school. And she and her parents have gone through lots of stuff. And Abby is unique. And Abby is different. And I told Abby last night, I'm going to talk about you Sunday morning. She said, really? And I said, yes, I'm going to talk about you. And just before we break bread for communion, sitting on the ragged edge of the foundation, I asked each one of the kids to share something about what they've learned about this weekend, about yourself or somebody else. And Abby spoke loudly and clearly, almost like a TV evangelist. She said, I have lots of issues. I have medical issues. I suffer from anxiety. But she said, it's like everything disappears when I'm with all of you. And I just want to thank you for your love and your support. And I can quote the Bible to these kids until I'm blue in the face. And I can't because I don't know the Bible all that well. I can look at a catalog under catechism and give them all the instruction they need to be a good Lutheran. But there's one catechism that you cannot buy. It's priceless, it does not fit on a shelf, and that catechism is called life. Because it's in your life, my life, and their life, which is precisely where Jesus lives. And all we need to do is to step back and let the Spirit in and allow Jesus to speak in the honesty and the gentleness and the goodness of our heart and our soul. You know, in the gospel lesson for this morning, Jesus is the gatekeeper. And the whole thing sounds very ominous, like only those who believe in Jesus can get in. But you see, Jesus is at the gate, not to keep people out, but to let people like you and me in. Not because we're perfect, not because we deserve it, but because we are his children. The passcode to this gate is spelled kindness. The passcode is forgiveness and understanding. The passcode is laced with gentleness and patience. I think of applause around a campfire. I think of a young lady saying thank you to her friends. I think of sitting on a foundation of life and goodness that will never collapse over time because we break bread there, we drink wine, reminded of the gift that Jesus gives to us. I can still hear my grandma play the organ, not as good as Mike does. I can still hear Abby's voice at the foundation. I remember a journey to camp almost 40 years ago, and I see all the names in the prayer book that we have every Sunday, and I see Jesus at the gate, and the password is kindness, and we take that confirmation test every single day. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed. It's on page 105.